Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at FINRA's response to the blue sheet request in the New York Supreme Court, so stay tuned for that. Before we get started, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So headline first of all here from Yahoo Finance: Biden is set to sign a debt ceiling bill that averts the prospects of unprecedented federal default. So I'm expecting this signing to take place this weekend, and further down we can see this potentially may happen on Saturday. The debt ceiling will be raised, and dodging Monday's deadline when the Treasury warned that the United States would start running short of cash to pay its bills, and this potentially could have also been very critical for the markets as well. So this agreement is certainly going to give some confidence. And in other news to look at for this week, there will be 0 speakers from the Fed next week, and that is because there is a blackout period ahead of the June FOMC meeting. So let's finish off by having a quick look at how the markets closed in terms of the heat map on Friday, and we can see again significant amounts of green here, and there was also a good bounce back in the energy sector, especially for oil. Tesla is making a good run, and obviously technology also did quite well, and Microsoft, Google, Apple and Amazon all finishing green. I'd like to start by giving a shout out to Meta News, who were one of the first ones to give this news. And in the post we can see here FINRA response to the New York Supreme Court petition, reasons why they can't release the MMTLP blue sheet data. The request for blue sheet data is overbroad. Blue sheet data contains confidential information. So just 2 reasons there what they're saying. So for reference purposes, if anybody wants to have a look at all the attachments and the exhibits, the information that I'm going to be looking at is from the New York State Unified Court System. So go ahead and check this page out, and you'll be able to see all the petitions, all the exhibits from this case. Before we look at FINRA's response, quick reminder of the case here, which is David Kosani versus FINRA, and this is the one that Mark Basile is representing. And we can see here the verified petition is to compel disclosure in the Supreme Court of the State of New York. So we can see here the verified petition seeking pre-action disclosure pursuant to CPLR 3102 Section C alleges as follows. So I'm just going to now zoom ahead to look at the prayer for relief at the end. So if we have a look at Section 51, based on the circumstances alleged in this petition, a petitioner is entitled to disclosure sought under New York law and the CPLR. No prior applications for the relief requested herein has been made. So obviously the prayer for order is a pursuant of CPLR 3102, compelling the respondent to disclose and to turn over to the petitioner the blue sheets relating to the MMAT and MMTLP securities. So metamaterials is also included here, although I think the complaint is focusing on MMTLP. Again, directing the respondent to preserve all evidence relating to the MMAT and MMTLP securities and describe herein. So basically making sure that FINRA do not destroy evidence and making sure this evidence is preserved, because potentially, obviously, this is a matter that is affecting thousands of members, and we don't want obviously tampering of the evidence. And finally, Section C, granting such other and further relief that the court seems just and proper. We can see here this was filed on the 2nd of June 2023 by the New York County Clerk and the Supreme Court of State of New York, County of New York. So FINRA have responded, and we can see here their representative or attorney, John P. Mitchell, is duly admitted to practice law. So I'm sure he is still got his qualifications and his legal license to practice law. Affirms the following statements to be true. So obviously he is under the penalties of perjury if these are not true. So I'm going to skip to the next section here under section 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first of all, the attorney for FINRA is saying, I am fully familiar with the facts and circumstances set fourth hearing. So he's basically saying he understands full details of the case. I certainly hope he understands all angles and all issues involved. He is submitting this affirmation accompanying the exhibits and memorandum of law in support of FINRA's opposition to petition David Kasani's petition to compel disclosure under CPLR 3102 Section C. Exhibit A is a fair and accurate depiction of the publicly posted image reposted on petitioner's counsellor's Twitter account. So FINRA are using the Twitter account of David Kasani and saying this is something that we are looking at, and this is something that we are adding in our evidence. So if you remember Mark Basile's previous Twitter space, he stated that FINRA and you could say the authorities are watching everybody's social media, and I think there has been a significant amount of evidence in this petition here, in this case, that way is showing that to be true. So number 4, Exhibit B is a true and correct copy of the motion to dismiss filed by FINRA in action Hoffman versus FINRA. So they're using the evidence of Richard Hoffman, and further down we'll also see that they are using evidence in Rosa and as well as that Alan Hensley as well. So let's have a look at the next section. So section 5, again, they're adding in Exhibit C, which is a copy of the motion to dismiss filed by FINRA in the action of Rosa versus FINRA. So again, what I can see here, that in this case, FINRA are certainly working very, very hard. The attorneys must be working 24/7 and finding as much evidence as they can. And it is a very, very robust amount of research looking at different cases. So they certainly seem to be very, very desperate to win this. Number 6, Exhibit D is a true, correct copy of the motion to amend complaint in the California litigation. So again, cross-referencing with Richard Hoffman's case. Number 7, motion to amend complaint and propose amended complaint filed by the plaintiff in the Florida litigation. Again, continuation of that as well. Then we've got the motion for expedited discovery filed by the plaintiff in the California litigation, letter from the SEC to a FOIA appeal denying a request for communication and blue sheet data for MMAT and MMTLP. But what they are failing to mention under Section 9 is there was a FOIA request that was also granted. So yes, they are now some of them have been denied, but remember, some of them have been granted. So we will be looking at the granted FOIA request in response to your number 9 here. And then number 10, publicly posting an image dated 27th of May from the petitioner's counsel's Twitter account, stating that a civil litigation cannot plead the specificity required for the claims. So let's have a look at this exhibit. So they're quoting the tweet from Mark Basile here, and this is where the evidence that they have filed in the Court of New York, where Mark has said this is exactly what the data our client has requested in its New York action is mandatory, because without it a civil litigation cannot plead the specificity required for the claims. Expected that Rosa and Hoffman suits would be dismissed because of this. So FINRA certainly not happy here that Mark is also talking about Rosa and Hoffman's cases, because obviously this is one success in any of these cases will bring the house of cards down. So if we move on to look at Section 11, it states here, Exhibit I is a fair and accurate depiction of the publicly posted image dated May the 27th from the petitioner's counsel's Twitter account. So again, that means Mark Basile, recommending plaintiff in the Florida litigation seek an extension until 14 days. So obviously what they are certainly not happy about is Mark giving counsel and advice to the other cases, including Rosa. So let's have a look at this exhibit they're referring to, and they've attached for the judge, and it states here where Mark stated Rosa should move to extend the time to file her amended complaint to 14 days after the New York court issues its order on the blue sheets. This way she will have the necessary information to draft the complaint. So FINRA certainly not happy that Rosa is getting additional legal advice. They have a problem with that, and that's why they have filed that in their response. So certainly they're not happy with that. They've also obviously attached a true copy of the complaint of Global Tech Industries Group versus Canaccord Genuity LLC. So remember, this Canaccord Genuity is one of the alleged market makers that was behind the creation of MMTLP. Section 13, Exhibit K, they've referred to, it's a fair and accurate depiction of the public posted image from the Petition Council's Twitter account. So again, monitoring Mark Basile's Twitter, acknowledge that NextBridge corporate transfer action agent knows the identity of the NextBridge shareholders, and what they're also saying with regard to what Mark's posted, that Mark's tweet has been removed. So let's have a look at this tweet that they've also used, and this is where Mark has posted AST, for short for American Stock Transfer, independent transfer agent. They're also the MMAT transfer agent. There should be no issue at all with the company requesting a full shareholder accounting, whether holders of or record or otherwise, for either MMAT as well as MMTLP plus the no-ball list. So this isn't an issue. The information is easily accessible by the company since AST works under contract as a service provider to MMAT. No need to be confused. And yes, we are working on a Sunday. So again, what FINRA is certainly implying here is that Mark initially said that this information was available, and as far as we're aware, that we know that this information is not available, has not been provided. We don't know who the shareholders are. So again, that's evidence that FINRA are attaching here under Section 13 and Section 14. They said they're obviously a true copy of the complaint of Park versus E-Trade. So again, another reference to another case that is also ongoing. In the final section here, after number 15, we can see here that FINRA now request the court deny the petition to compel disclosure under CPLR 3102 for all the reasons set forth in FINRA's opposition. So we can see a lot of the reasons are some of the Twitter posts, obviously some of the other cases. So certainly seems like an act of desperation to me. Let's now get some reactions to FINRA's response. So first of all, here, shout out to Meta News, who've posted, FINRA also states that this would be a huge burden on their employees to produce the blue sheet data, a huge burden on their employees. I'm staggered by that, but it also states, obviously, I thought they already have the data, and who cares if it's a burden? It is their job. 100% agree. Yes, it is their job. So let's have a look at Section 21, and what FINRA are saying is producing electronic blue sheet data would impose a significant burden upon FINRA and would require FINRA to redirect multiple staff members away from FINRA's regulatory work to identify, export, review and prepare the data for production. So I've got a suggestion for FINRA. Well, maybe if we as an MMTLP community set up a GoFund page for your FINRA staff to produce these blue sheets, and that would avoid them having a burden. So we'll contribute. Everybody can happily put in $10 each. You give us a blue sheet data, and then your staff are not being burdened. So that is my response to that. But let's have a look at the other problem here. So they've said getting the blue sheet data would be quite burdensome, but if we have a look at the other freedom of information that was actually released, and remember this was not mentioned by FINRA, highlighted in blue here, in fact, blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. So basically, this is actually proof under the FOIA that was released that they have released, and they have got this data. So first of all, make your mind up. Has it been released? As you know, you said here, in fact, blue sheet both MMAT, blue sheeting both MMAT and MMTLP as we speak. So this was December the 5th, but now you're saying it would be a burden. So certainly looks to be conflicting information there. And the next shout out here is to Glass Guy, who's posted an excellent tweet here, and it states here on line 16, you said you would be you said it would be disclosure of the blue sheet data would be prejudicial to FINRA and prematurely reveal your investigation direction. But on line 17, you say something else. Which one is it? So again, looks like something where they have dug themselves into a hole, and the hole is getting bigger. So it states here, riddle me this, if the blue sheets you received prior to the halt were so vital to your investigation and mission to protect investors, why did you keep letting MMTLP trade? We know it was trading for over a year. If it was a problem, why did you allow that? Section 17, Disclosure of the blue sheet data would interfere with FINRA's ability to complete its investigations and would frustrate FINRA's mission of protecting investors and safeguarding market integrity. So that actually sounds like a joke. I finally like to finish off by giving a shout out to the weekly Watchlist review from previous week. So first of all, we called out ticker symbol GNS. That was up 24% on the week. We also called out QH. That was up 28% on the week. WTM. That was up 8.6% on the week. MRVL. We also called out up 2.75% on the week. ARVL was up 6.5% on the week. TISI. That was I think that closed level on the week. CRWD, that was up 1% on the week, and however after earnings it was down 11%, but then on the Thursday recovered 11%, so lots of volatility in CRWD. CRM, that finished level on the week but was down 7% on the Wednesday. BMR, there was a huge rump in the previous week. We did expect a little bit of a sell-off, and that happened, and that was down 29% on the week. So not all calls are successful, but congratulations to everybody who got in some of these other stocks. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.